What's up, y'all? Back with another video. I know it's been quite a while since I've done a video on this channel. I just been busy. Been busy doing other stuff. Don't really have time to do rants. But as you all know, Charlie Kirk was assassinated. I mean, you must be some of that microbial life on Mars to not know that Charlie Kirk was assassinated a few days ago. And everybody has just beat it to death. There's nothing new that I can say really about the actual murder or the response to it, the way people are acting. It's all been analyzed. My whole point of this video is to point out what I've always said, and that's that the Democrat Party and the leftists act strikingly similar to flat earthers. The two cults are the same. I'm not saying that to be in one cult means you're in the other cult. I'm saying the traits of the two cults are almost identical. I wrote this and posted it. I don't know if many people saw it. I got a few responses. It's so funny too because it looks like there has been 8 comments. However, I only see one of them. So that leads me to believe that YouTube probably scrubbed a few of them. Probably people were saying dumb things. You got to know how to phrase your replies, guys. You can't just come out and say certain things. You have to mask it and everything else. But here's what I wrote. I called that, I've said it before and I will say it again, the Democrat and flat earth cults act the exact same. They love to believe the lies and refuse to accept reality. The Charlie Kirk assassination mirrors the final experiment in many ways. The facts in the final experiment overwhelmingly prove the Earth is a spinning globe, while the Charlie Kirk assassination has overwhelming evidence that the shooter was a far left extremist. And just like how flat earthers could not accept the facts that the Earth is a globe, the leftists cannot accept that one of their own was the shooter, even going as far as to say he was a MAGA supporter. The mainstream media has even spread the lies, much like the leaders in the flat Earth, like Eric DeBay and Dave Weiss, spread their lies. The claim that the shooter was MAGA is about as dumb and as backwards as saying TFE proved the Earth is flat. Plus, do you notice that when flat earthers or Democrats can't win a debate or argue their points, they resort to personal attacks? Yes, the Democrats are more extreme in this regard because they will actually resort to murder, but the basic reaction is the same. When prominent flat earthers left the flat earth cult and acknowledged the Earth as a globe, they were attacked on a personal level for their beliefs. No different than Charlie Kirk and many other right-wing commentators who voiced their opinions. I'm not saying Democrats are flat earthers or vice versa. I'm only pointing out how the two cults are the exact same. Disagree? Prove me wrong. And I stand on that. I stand on that. The way that the two groups of people act is the exact same. Just like how in the final experiment, it proved overwhelmingly that the Earth is a globe through many different facts. I mean, it was proved over. It wasn't just like one thing. It was like over and over. It was proved by many different things that the Earth is a globe. It's not flat. It's a globe. And it was proven with multiple points. Just like how the shooter is a far left extremist. And there's just so many facts that point to that. However, the leaders of the Democrat Party, the people on the mainstream media, they don't want to have anything to do with that. And they just will say the exact opposite. Just like how Dave Weiss and Eric DeBay and the rest of them say the exact opposite about the final experiment. How, oh, that didn't really happen. And that was a fake sun. And just anything that they can do to not actually have the conversation of what that meant to have the final experiment, to prove that the Earth is a globe. They can't even talk about that. They can't even get to that level because they're too busy ignoring what happened. Just like the leftists. They can't have the conversation of, we need to dial down the violence on our side because they can't even come to grips and admit that their side did it. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And God, man, I'm just saying there's just so much stuff. There's just so much stuff I want to say about it. I mean, it disgusts me. The fact that, they had to kill a man because of what he said. That just proves that they're losing, that the leftists are losing. If you can't argue your ideas anymore, you have to resort to violence, personal attacks. That just shows you're losing, just like the flat earthers. They can't argue their points anymore with anything that makes sense. They don't show up to debates because they get crushed. So they resort to personal attacks. I mean, look what happened to Jaron. They came after him, talking about his wife and his kid and everything else, making up songs about him. It's the same type of behavior. It's unhinged lunatics. They love to be lied to. It doesn't matter. I mean, these leftists, they just run with whatever the media says. Well, the media said it was a Trump supporter that did it, so then they just go online spreading that. Just like how Dave Weiss or Eric DeBay or one of those other idiots will say something, and then they just run with it. They get what they need, and then they can run with it because somebody else said it. Therefore, I can say it too. They love the lies. The left and flat earthers love to be lied to, and they have no concept of reality, of what's really going on. The two are the same. They're cults. They're both cults. And I don't want to hear about how the left and the right are the same. That is a terrible take to say that the left and the right are the same and there's extremists on both sides. That's a terrible take by someone that does not know what's going on, that doesn't pay attention to current events, has no idea about politics. It's obvious. Look at how the left acts and then look at how the right acts. They're not the same. That's not the same at all. Were there any riots? Did any cities get burned down? Did any cars get set on fire after Charlie Kirk was assassinated? Or did people just have peaceful vigils? Could you imagine if that was some kind of prominent black person, like if Kamala Harris or something got shot, got her neck blown out? Dude, every city would be burning down right now. Because that's the way that the left acts. Stores would be getting looted. Shit would be burning down. That didn't happen with the right. That's not how we act. Which, I'm not going to get into it, but I'm just saying, we're the side of peace. Maybe a little too much. I mean, to a certain point, it's like you got to fight back at a certain point. But we're not going to get into that. We're going to get into the facts. And the facts are that the right did not react in a violent way to Charlie Kirk's assassination. No, the only disgusting people were the leftists that came out celebrating it. Which is another point. Like when Joe Biden announced that he had cancer, did people on the right come out and celebrate that? Or did they say, hey, we're sorry to hear that. We don't like the guy, but we're sorry to hear that he has cancer. That's what happened. We didn't come out and celebrate it and make up little songs about how Joe Biden has cancer and he's not going to be around long. That didn't happen at all. Or how about those 2 Democrats that got murdered by the guy that impersonated the cop, show up to their house and blew him away? Did anybody celebrate that on the right? No, I didn't see anybody celebrating that. I've heard this been said many times in the past few days, but it's not a matter of left versus right anymore. It's literally good versus evil. People that want to celebrate an innocent man's death because he said something that they didn't like, those are evil people. He didn't do anything. He just said words that they didn't like. And I guarantee you half those people probably never even watched him. I wasn't even the biggest Charlie Kirk fan. But his death impacted me. I mean, like, I was never a big fan of the guy. I always thought he was wrong on a few things. He still doesn't know the difference between sex and gender. That was my main gripe with him. He'd be like, how many genders are there? Well, it's like there's an infinite because it's not a real thing. It's like, how many Halloween costumes are there? Gender just is your representation to the world. How you like to represent yourself to the world. What you dress up like. That's what gender is. It has nothing to do with biology. That's biological sex. There are 2. There's male and female. That's all that needs to be recognized. Are you a male or are you a female? I don't care how you dress up. You can dress up like an alien unicorn child. Okay, that could be your gender. That doesn't make it a thing. That doesn't make it real. That doesn't mean other people need to acknowledge it. There are 2 sexes. That's what his question should have been. How many sexes are there? Male and female. Can you change from one sex to another? No, you cannot. You cannot. I don't care how bad you think your brain got put in the wrong body. That's a mental illness. You can't change sexes. That'd be like me saying I want to be a black man. And that's the problem is in society these days, we coddle those people. We have to acknowledge their perverted desires to think that they're the opposite sex when they're not. Instead of saying, hey, you're not a woman, you're actually a man. No, in society now we have to pretend that they're a woman, which just makes it worse. It just adds to their mental illness. And it is a mental illness. If you think your brain got put in the wrong body, you need professional help. But instead, we're taking these mentally ill people and then fucking with their hormones. What do you think that's going to do? It's going to make a maniac. I mean, these trans shooters, these mass murderers that have been on the rise in the past few years, that's crazy because you're taking a crazy person and then you're messing with their hormones. That's just going to make them more crazy. I mean, these guys that think they're women and then go out and shoot everybody up, that's not how women act. That's how a lunatic male acts. I don't care what you think you are. You're still a man, and that anger proves that you're a man. I mean, you see these people, it's like, somebody will call them a sir or something. It's not a sir, it's ma'am, it's ma'am. It's like literally like Frankenstein. You can't take crazy people, mess with the chemicals in their body, and then expect them to get better. They're just going to get worse. And no, they shouldn't be allowed to have guns or any kind of weapon for that matter. These people need serious mental health. You cannot change your sex. Sure, you can pretend to be whatever gender you want, but guess what? Gender doesn't mean anything. It's completely meaningless. It has no bearing on anything. To say someone's a transgender, so? You can change your gender whatever you want. I could dress up like a woman tomorrow. That would be changing my gender, how I represent myself to the world. Look it up if you don't believe me. Sex and gender are not the same thing. If they were the same thing, it would be the same word. But they're different words because they mean different things. Sex is what you are. Gender is what you pretend to be. Simple as that. But my point is, one side of the political aisle is made up of lunatics, is made up of complete demonic lunatics. And that would be the left. Those are the people that will come after you if you decide to speak out against them. Can you name one right-wing riot that there's been? Well, J6, I know you're going to say J6, which was a Fed op, which, come on. Come on. Well, both sides are the same. They're just there to divide the people. That is such a terrible take. That is such a just a low IQ, you don't know what's going on type take. You don't pay attention. And that's what I used to always hear when I was in the flat earth community. Just the worst political takes. I'm sorry. But even you can't get any good political takes from anybody in the flat earth community because they have no idea what's going on and they think everything is a lie and a conspiracy. Well, Trump's in on it. Trump's in on it too. Trump's in on it? Really? That's why they tried to impeach him. That's why they raided his house. That's why they jailed him. That's why they tried to kill him twice. Yeah, because he's in on it. So they do all this stuff to destroy. They've done everything they possibly can to get rid of that man, and they can't. And this is the result. Trump has broken the left. He has completely broken the left. That's why they're acting like this. They have nothing else to resort to except violence. They can't win at the voting booth. They can't win in the battle of ideas. They can't win a debate. They can't argue their points. And they're at the end of their rope. So all they have left is violence, which shows that they're losing. That's all that proves, is that they're losing. And the right is winning. Prove me wrong. It's just so sad that it's come to this. Instead of having a conversation on, why this is happening, why, there's an assassination culture that's growing, especially with the younger people. They think it's just okay. Oh, I don't like somebody, just go kill them. That's because they spend all their life online and playing video games, and they have no conception of reality, real life, real people. They don't even interact with real people half the time. Everything's online. It's just this fake little world that they're in. And they don't understand the consequences of when you kill somebody or kill a father or kill a husband, what that does to the people around them. They don't care. And it's just a shame that instead of having the conversation on why this is happening, why these leftists are so violent and radical, we can't even get to that point because the people in the media don't even want to admit it's a leftist. When every single sign points to that. His family says it. His friends say it. He wrote the engravings on the bullet casings. He lived and had a lover that was a trans furry. Yeah, that sounds like a MAGA supporter, doesn't it? Someone that had a furry boyfriend. I mean, the guy was gay. Surprise, surprise. Super frustrating. Just like how we couldn't talk about the results of the final experiment, really, because we couldn't even get over the fact that Jaron and them actually went down there, or that the sun was real, or the whole thing wasn't filmed in the studio. It's like you can't even get to the next step of the conversation because people can't even acknowledge basic reality and facts of the situation to begin with. It's super frustrating. It's super frustrating. These people in the media, man, that's the last thing on earth they want to do is admit that it was a leftist that did this. Because you know why? Because it blows up their whole narrative of MAGA right-wing Nazis being the ones of violence, which is completely a lie. Like I said, name me one right-wing riot other than bringing up J6, which I would even argue was a riot. That was a Fed op. Let's just forget that one. Can you name anything else? Because I can name a whole bunch of ones from the left. A whole bunch of acts of violence from the left. They tried to kill Trump, which is another thing with the flat earthers. The fact that people would even question that, especially now after this, you're still going to question if Trump actually got shot at? Really? Well, he just rubbed ketchup on his ear. Dude, you people are living in fantasy land to think that. Complete fantasy land, if you're even going to question that. It's just unbelievable how stupid society is. Just how warped some of these people's brains are. How you can't live in reality. How you can't accept facts. It's completely insane. It's just amazing that there are actually still people on the left. You know, I guarantee there's always going to be crazy people. But these middle of the road people that are like, you know, do I really want to be associated with these violent lunatics anymore? That's why the media can't say it was a leftist, because they're going to lose those people. They're going to lose those middle of the road people that don't really pay attention. But if they go online, on TV and say it was a MAGA extremist, a groiper, I didn't even heard that term until you, a groiper? Yeah, they said it was a groiper, someone who followed Nick Fuentes that didn't like Charlie Kirk because he wasn't radical enough. That's who actually killed Charlie Kirk, was a groiper. Wow, yeah, a groiper that was boning another dude that thought he was a furry. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And he wrote the phrases on the bullet casings. Not to mention his family and friends back up the fact that he was a far left extremist. But these people don't want to pay attention to any of that. Well, he dressed up like Donald Trump in 2017. Therefore, he's a MAGA supporter. Oh, okay. So everybody that dresses up like the baseball Karen this year, they support the baseball Karen for taking that ball away? Is that how it works? If you dress up like somebody for Halloween, that means you support them? No, I don't think so. It's it's literally the equivalent of saying like there's two suns, or the sun's a hermaphrodite, or the sun's reflecting off a parabolic mirror or some bullshit like that. It's the same type of delusion. It's the same thing. It's like, dude, just accept the fact. You were wrong. You're on the wrong side. You had the shape of the earth wrong. You thought the wrong thing. It's okay to admit you're wrong. Who cares? Nobody cares what you think. I know you think everybody cares about what you think, but really nobody does. So it's okay to admit you were wrong. It's really not that big of a deal. But yeah, the level of insanity in the Democrat Party and in the flat earth community is off the freaking charts. Absolute lunatics. And yeah, I just feel like they're the exact same. They act the exact same. It's crazy. Anyways, I'm starting to beat this horse to death a little too much now. I think you get the point. But yeah, it's a real shame what happened to Charlie Kirk. It's a real shame. Like I said, I wasn't a big fan of the guy, but it still impacted me. Just, and I haven't watched the video. I don't want to watch the video. I don't need to watch the video. I've had it described to me plenty of times. I don't need to see it. But for the fact that you've got people out there making shirts with the image on there, making toys of him getting shot, or what I just most recently watched was some little punk ass 19-year-old kid walking through the memorial site, or the, where they had all the flowers and stuff, walking through there, kicking over stuff, kicking it over. I mean, these people, it's a mental illness. These people are sick. They're demonic. We don't need them in society. I hope they throw the book at everybody that was involved with this. And I'm not going to for 1 second believe that his little furry lover had no idea that he was going to do that and was totally surprised when he did it. Yeah, I'll never believe that for 1 second. He totally knew. He totally knew what was going to happen. And he needs to get like 50 years in prison. That's great that he's cooperating with the authorities. Cool. Maybe not. Don't give him life then. Maybe give him only 50 or 60 years in prison. And all these other people on that Discord that were joking and laughing about it, lock them up. We need to stamp these people out from society. We need to make an example of them and let people know that it's not right to act like this. You can't act like a deranged lunatic and expect to get away with it. And I hope that the shooter gets the death penalty. I hope he gets the death penalty, and Trump needs to make it public. He needs to broadcast that on TV so we can all see that guy get killed on TV. Just like we all had to watch Charlie Kirk get killed. Eye for an eye, baby. We need to make an example of these people and let them know that if you act like this, there are going to be serious consequences. Make it public. Make it public. And I'm not the only one saying that. There are a lot of people that are wanting that. We want it to be public. And guess what they got there in Utah? Firing squad, baby. Yep. You want to live by the bullet, you're going to die by the bullet. So I think that needs to happen. I think Trump needs to broadcast it. He needs to make it known. You can't act like this in America and expect to get any kind of a break. Nope. Make an example out of them. Lock everybody up that had anything to do with it. Anybody in that Discord conversation, lock them up. Give them a minimum 20 years in prison. Make their sentences just ridiculously over the top. Because like I said, we need to make an example out of them. We need to stamp this sickness out of society once and for all. So anyways, I think I've said enough here. I think I'm going to wrap it up. Hope you all enjoyed it. Until the next video, y'all. Peace.